I think the film it's kind of got a multi-generational appeal. And I think the characters in the film are very endearing, and the film has a lot of humor, and it's got this incredible soundtrack, and it's very exciting. And, there's a big problem, and then we go about solving it, and it just feels like you want these characters to win, and I just think it's just generally appealing because of that. I've been waiting to work on the sequel for the last 4 or 5 years. Yes. I just love working with Garth. He's just a brilliant creative mind, and so generous of spirit, and so emotionally available and enthusiastic, and man, he just thinks outside of the box. He's just got just a delicious brain, and I was excited to play with him again. It's just really he's a wonderful collaborator. I think she, Ash in the first Sing really, she's got this kind of relationship that's sort of holding her back, and she's not yet kind of found her own voice. She's sort of living in the shadow of her boyfriend, who's, kind of a jerk. And when she finally gets enough confidence to shed him, she sort of realizes that she's, I think, deserves a seat at the table. And it's a really very inspiring journey to watch her come to that place. And in this film, she uses that experience to help another character rediscover their voice and find their footing again after a huge loss. And I think that's a very admirable act. I don't know. I think they both have a love of music, and that's what sort of they both, I think, recognize in the other person a true artist, and they have a mutual respect for one another because of that. I think when Ash speaks to Clay, she really, he understands that she gets him, she gets his music, and it opens the door a little bit because he's so guarded. She kind of gets her foot in a little bit that way. Yeah, I mean, it's my 13-year-old dream come true is singing a duet with Bono. I never in a million years would have ever thought I would be at least singing a duet with Bono that any other person would hear. Maybe in a bar at 4 a.m. with Bono makes sense to me, but the fact that we're on a soundtrack is crazy. And then yesterday he told me he played it for the band, and my mind was kind of blown at that. I mean, I love Stuck in a Moment. It's been one of my favorite songs from, high school and before, and it's very surreal. Yeah, I mean, I experienced it myself the first Sing when, it's interesting because we all record our parts in sort of a vacuum, and then, we don't necessarily know, and it's over years, and so to see it all put together, we don't necessarily know what else is going on for any other character in the film, even though it's part of, a big ensemble. And, that third act of the first Sing, I was so verklempt. I was emotional and happy and sad and cheering and excited, and there was this adrenaline that came with. I loved it so much. And then I looked next to me, and my at the time 3 or 4 year old daughter was having her experience with, the story, and all of her friends were, just the characters are so, they're just very well fleshed out. They just feel like very real, well, I would say people, but they're animals, but they're completely relatable. Yeah, you just root for them. You want them to win. And I think it's, that sort of like, it feels that way, like it feels multi-generational because of that. I always like doing voice work. I've done a lot of it in different ways in animated films and film. As an actor, you kind of have two tools. Like you have your physicality and you have your voice, and then you take one of those things away, and you're suddenly hyper aware of, what you don't have. And you're focused on the kind of nuance of that one tool. And I don't know whether it's liberating or not, but it's definitely like intense kind of work that's just it's just different. It's just something different, and has its own challenges. And I like that. I like doing stuff that feels, like some kind of puzzle you have to solve. And I mean, working with Garth is the best partner to do that with, because he's got plenty of suggestions and lots of enthusiasm, and he can kind of, I think he knows it when he has it, and he hears it in his mind, and then he's sort of right there with you, and he'll work at something until it's perfect, and then he knows when to like step off the gas. And it's just, yeah, he's a fantastic director. He's a great actor's director and a wonderful writer. Yeah, it's sort of, it was interesting recording it over the quarantine time, because we were all working separately of one another, and it was the only opportunity for me to kind of perform during that time, and I really looked forward to those sessions, because it gave, I don't know, it was just so reassuring to know that we were making something for the future, and it just helped me kind of like dream about what that was going to be, and now here we are, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to celebrate this with people in person and with our families in person, and it's a movie that's so much about overcoming personal obstacles and finding like a united voice, and I think it's just it's the right time for it.